Do you want to go bot? You want to go top? FPX? I say we go bot. What do you reckon?
That's what I think as well. This is where I want to see how FPX play, and if Khan can play the same style of Gimgoon. Be fine in the top lane, win it or lose it by yourself, but you're by yourself, while the rest of FPX can play down towards LWX and Crisp on that bottom lane.
Because it will be a test here for Khan. Remember, he demands attention. In the passes demand resources here for FPX.
And that's what I mean. Is this the comp where he doesn't? Can we see Khan take a step back?
No, because he has Electrocute as the top Aatrox.
Oh, okay.
So that's really testing the lane, isn't it?
So the way that Mo would like to play this lane is Kiana is go for these quick trades, proc the Electrocute and back off, and then slowly try and whittle down Khan. But Khan is now matched with this, so these trades are going to go back and forth so quickly, but I still give this lane favor over to Khan.
I was just noticing the other runes as well. Doomby has opted in for Comet now. LPL Savants out there. We're going to have to pause. Khan is like, yeah, take that. Doomby has been taking a lot of Conqueror Rumble. Like a lot. Or Predator Rumble mid. He's been playing around with the rune set a little bit. It's interesting and rare to see him pick up Comet.
I prefer the Comet in this set though. You're trying to push in the wave, get some poke down onto CLX, because the amount of damage that CLX can do just on Syndra as you approach the wave as Doinby is pretty damn high, so you need something to try and trade it back. And it's not like you've got multiple members that you can start to stack this Conqueror on when it comes to team fights. You're pretty much dealing with Xiaohan or Max. They're not really the carries that you want to focus on.
CLX with the phase rush in his opposite end as well. Take note of the junglers here. Topside start here for Xiaohan, and we're not splitting the map this time around. Pretty standard jungle path. So we're not going to get any shenanigans this early on. And with the Lee Sin towards the top side and with the lane pushed in means that, okay, Tien eventually moving bot.
And this is where they're going to try and set up for Doinby. They could potentially look for an early roam here. After this wave crashes, Doinby hits 2, can start to use the Flame Spitter to push out this wave, and then assist Khan in making things happen on the bottom side. But I think that's why we've seen Xiaohan go for this clear down towards the bottom side, to try and stop any early game shenanigans from the FPX side. Also,
you can see a really nice ward around the Tri-Brush there. That's going to be spotting out Tien as he makes his way down there. Currently on the red buff, while for Xiaohan pathing his way back up. He went buff to buff and now has the option of going towards top, which Khan is incredibly fastly shoving in. Or matching this, as you mentioned, shadowing Tien.
So Khan is trying to get this to crash because he's a bit worried about Xiaohan.
Flag drag lands. That's the key thing here for Xiaohan. As Tien now taking the engage. Look, there's a flash burnt here. Or rather ignite from Crisp as Y4 is kiting his way back. Xiaohan has to burn his own summoner. And Tien's still pushing in. That's not the place to back. This is a better place to back for now. There's Tien. Ooh, safeguard. No, he has to flash.
That could have been a hell of a lot worse. Max could have flashed in with the headbutt pulverize combo and knocked up Tien. Tien over-aggressing there. You were not going to get the kill underneath the tower, but here's the 4-man dive and roam that we were talking about.
Very much style of FPX. Max and Y4 underneath turret. Here comes the flash through. Great from Chris. Takes the first bit of turret aggro, and Tien comes in as well. Now balances around with Doomby, but Tien does not play it out perfectly. He didn't have the flash, so V5 fight back.
So 1 for 1 when all is said and done, but crucially, the kills went over towards Y4. This will set up Y4 to start getting those boots nice and early. And when we start to look towards these objectives, that's where both of these teams are really focusing on winning out. Having Doinby's equalizer alongside the bullet time to try and win out in those fights, but on V5's side, they're trying to get Mole ahead so then he can set up for these fantastic supreme display of talent.
When he's in the gap of vision as well until he's just been spotted out. Tien will see him over the wall. He goes here with the blast cone, but Tien very, very deep. That is not the play once again. I'm not sure. Stun from CLX. Doomby might be in a bit of trouble as well. A dodge away here from the Q as he fights back too, but second time here that Tien has been over-ambitious.
It's cost them pretty dearly now as well. If B5 can look to set up for this dragon that's about to spawn if they would like, especially since, okay, we've got a kill over towards Y4, now a kill onto Xiaohan. If we start these backs now, we can return to lane, get ourselves a nice buy off. In the meantime, and set ourselves up for these big crucial team fights that we're talking about. Both these teams are pretty even when it comes to the team fighting prowess, because you've got big AoE ultimates between Doinby and Mole, but you've got to try and pick off members on the V5 side for CLX to set up and allow the double assassin combo to work.
What I noticed about this as well for the side of V5 is that when we talked coming into this about how V5 interact, well, the interactions weren't as harsh as this. Mole is behind 20 CS in this top lane. Xiaohan with the earlier kill, now moving up towards the top side. Tien is matching well, but dead. Okay, that's what happens. Tien not there in the nick of time, and Xiaohan picks up his second kill. Tien Sonic Wave into Resonating Strike, wants to take this, but he safeguards out. And FPX, they're losing this early game.
TP will come in from Khan, which will force Mole back. So Mole will be able to recall and potentially come back in here. I'm watching where Doinby's moving, because he's hiding underneath this turret, threatening a dive on FPX's side. But he now will be spotted, so Mole knows that he's safe to clear this wave.
Also, Xiaohan's nearby as well, and he's level 5 to Tien's level 4. So important to note here that for V5, a much better start to the early game as mentioned before. And Mole roaming down there, capitalizes on Tien. Earlier in the top side, we saw that burst.
And this is why I'm surprised that V5 go for this split push, or split map in the game number 1. Because Xiaohan, if he's left to his own devices, is really good at responding to pressure on the map. He's quite intelligent with his pathing and when he makes calls. So I'm delighted to see now that V5, when they've put themselves in an even state in the early stages, Xiaohan is doing a great job to beat out Tian in this jungle.
Really good recovery from game 1. When game 1 was such a stomp and Xiaohan didn't get to play the game, it's impressive that V5 returned to the Rift with this. Especially since you look across multiple lanes, even with that CS disadvantage in the top lane, after they killed Khan, Mole's caught back up. He's got a double longsword, and this Kiana is now level 6. Khan is as well, and you know that dueling is going to go better for him. Mole playing around vision. The control ward not going to do too much here. Khan looking for that final proc. Mole running out of mana. There is his supreme display of talent, but Xiaohan is coming up here. So now Khan, World Ender, a little bit late than never. That'll get him out.
It's nice to see CLX coming back into this roster as well, because I feel like it sets up for a much stronger mid-jungle duo for V5. Xiaohan and CLX both came over from Joy Dream, JDG's academy roster, and they were performing pretty well together on that team. So now we get to see them on the V5 roster and see if this can mix things up and create a bit more synergy for them in that mid lane.
Remember that we have seen Xiaohan in the LPL before. He's been on JDG, you know, went to the main roster and played a couple of games there. So for Xiaohan, it's not like he's fully inexperienced here. It's not like we're looking at a, you know, night versus day in junglers. And especially this game, with Tien's earlier mistakes, Xiaohan has showed that he knows how to capitalize. And he's capitalizing right now with the trade amongst objectives. But will be spotted out by Khan. Khan, who doesn't have the ult available, who's being supported by Max, while FPX will take the Dragon trade.
This is something Xiaohan does pretty regularly. Oh, CLX though.
Okay, but flash away from the equalizer. That's good here. For V5, they still survive the important thing. But Doomby has no ult in front of this objective, which is now taken. Max might be in a bit of trouble with Fate's call. Khan will not be able to pull him back in. V5 with the trade and objectives, one that can snowball this game quicker.
And this is... Oh, hang on. Crisp is hunting.
Okay, Zenith Blade, the flag and drag away. Tien now, where can he safeguard to? Because Max is looking for the engage, finds it on top of Crisp. Mole there as well, but no ulti available. Testing each other out here in the enemy jungle. Everyone back to safety.
So this is something Xiaohan does pretty regularly, is try and trade the likes of the Dragon for the Rift Herald where the situation allows it. Makes the call there, and this time V5 are actually rotating quick enough to help out on that objective. This was something we saw them not do in the past, so V5 taking a step up this game.
Through Mole making his debut as a top laner here in 2020. Second game is a lot better though. So still behind, about 20 CS underneath Khan, but Serrated Dirk now picked up. A lot more kill threat, even with the Ninja Tabby in Khan's inventory.
Well, don't forget, the reason we saw Kiana as a jungler was because her base stats are so high and that ultimate is so impactful that you don't need a huge amount of gold onto this champion to be useful. So Mole, even if he's behind on the Aatrox, can still have massive impact because of the supreme display of talent in the fight.
But also remember, like talking specifically about top lane, Y4, do it, baby. Let's go. On to LWX. The heal's going to be burnt, takes a turret shot. But now here comes V5, the gang squad, and Revenge served cold here against FPX. LWX gets sent upwards, excuse me, as the scatter the weak. And a good block here. Xiao Han secures another kill. Equalizer comes down, but Doomby just doesn't have the damage. He has flash though. And now might actually be caught out. Teleport coming through from Mole. He can get over the wall. I think Doomby has the flash, and he does. Run away.
I'm confused, Hysterics. We talked about FPX being the 4-man bot team. V5 have taken that medicine and turned it right back onto FPX.
And Tien might be caught out here as well. Mole has the ultimate flashed away from Tien. What the heck are FPX doing? Great for V5 here. But boy, oh boy, does this look like week 1 we saw when Khan was back in the roster.
But again, this isn't a Khan issue. This is FPX making strange
time, yeah.
calls. FPX, though, making moves. Equalizer is not available for Doinby.
3-man solo play, Chris flashing in. That's the bullet time. LWX trying to bring it back here for the world champions as Doomby now cornering off. Flash away from Mole to jump through Doomby, but the Sonic Wave connects and the flag and drag to get out of there. Meanwhile, CLX looks to scatter the weak is a moment too short. And FPX will get some kind of return.
V5 come up looking meek after that one. FPX still pushing in this top lane. So
Nice
because V5 couldn't get that bottom lane turret, it's now a trade up for FPX after the turnaround. Tower in the top lane, 2 plates for themselves in the bottom lane as well. And FPX, despite what looked a little bit of a mishap, have managed to swing it back.
But I'm still looking towards V5 and saying, you know, even after that, he's still in a decent position. You got a 3-0 Jarvan, you got Cinderhulk in inventory, you got a Kalista on Y4 who's pretty close to Blade of the Ruined King, despite being 20 CS down.
That's the problem. The CS levels in this game. Y4 is down, Mole is down, and that's why, despite the fact that V5 have the kill advantage and are trading somewhat evenly when it comes to turret plates, they're still down almost 1,000 gold in this game.
By 4. Again, I'm just fascinated because for V5, it's not often you get to talk about them being in a position to either command or defend or at least be competitive, I should say. Y4 keeping up with Khan here, has been in solo lane for a while with these plates and now is about to experience total turret destruction with the help of Doomby, but V5 are going to get it first.
And
So
V5 can turn towards the dragon as well. That's up in about 45 seconds. So this is where we'll start to see V5 come into their own. If they can all group up as 5 and force FPX into a team fight, there is a chance that V5 come out on top, depending on Mole's supreme display of talent.
30 seconds until we see that Mountain Drake contest. At least for V5, time to reset as they push the wave top and FPX do the same. Now, note as we go into this fight, Blade of the Ruined King has been picked up from Y4, but no Essence Reaver from LWX. So we're at a point where V5 could be playing with stronger items here and might have a bit more power in their kit.
They still want to try and get flanks off in these fights though. If CLX and Mole can try and threaten the backline, the likelihood of V5 coming out ahead in this fight is far more likely. With FPX being in the river though and setting up vision right now, the flank potential becomes so much more difficult for V5.
I guess I should set it up with Xiao Han is nowhere near, so they don't care. They actually just don't care about this dragon. They're going top. Plates are still available and they said, let's get him. Tien is soloing this one away. And with an Infernal Rift coming up, FPX say good, and V5 say, give me gold. Let's give gold to Y4. Might be worth it.
So they're trying to give gold across, so both basically FPX are trying to trade the bottom lane turret for this top lane turret. I think what V5 are trying to do is take as much on this top lane turret as they can, fall back in towards the Rift Herald that's about to spawn, and while still keeping control of this mid lane. You can see Mole and Max are here to support in case any funny business comes across from FPX.
And we'll get the turret first in that bottom lane as well. While Y4 needs to wait for this next wave to come through. V5 is staying towards this top side for now. And that is because Rift Herald is spawning in under 20 seconds.
It was a bit of a risky call from V5. If Khan had stayed on that bottom side of the map, they might have been able to take that tier 2 tower and then force the recall from V5. But because FPX didn't try to push their advantage, now Xiao Han has started up the Rift Herald. But look at the members of FPX. They're crawling their way across the map towards it.
Mong's trying to catch them as well, trying to get in position here as FPX move in slowly. Y4 is not with the rest of his team for now. And this big Kalista Seems to be key to watch.
V5 owned the river though. This is why FPX are so scared of moving in here. We talked about Mole and CLX coming in on a flank. Especially when you've got a Jarvan there, the supreme display of talents have multiple walls that they can work with.
I love how it's an Infernal Rift, and a couple of those have also been taken out to note as well. So unlucky here for the side of Mole this game. He got the worst dragon for Kiana, I guess. As Tien going to start this one up, but it is on Vision. And look, V5 just reset. Hang on. They reset.
I don't know why they reset. They've just given control over to FPX here. They had everything that they wanted. They're still going to look for the fight, though.
We'll see Khan because of the Q that came out. Xiaohan walking in first. Chris nails him down, but Golden in the nick of time. Now look at where Mole is. You looked for that ulti. It hits one and it hits Tien. He's dead first as the bullet time comes through. Doomby helps challenge Mole, and FPX get the better kill here onto the top laner. I'll leave it undoubted question mark here. It's only a 1-for-1. V5 have mid.
V5 gave up control of the objective. Now they're trying to make...
Fate's call onto Chris in the nick of time once again here as LWX in position, but the Kalista now hitting away, exhausted onto Y4. Khan is chasing him a bop away from Max. Well, in the back line of FPX, LWX has done his job, and Y4 is getting beaten here by Khan. LWX kills the other AD, gets a shutdown, and V5 loses pretty much all.
V5 needed to threaten the back line as both Mole and CLX in these fights. Unfortunately though, Mole goes in aggressive over the wall into the pit, and CLX is waiting off on the side, unable to help out the top lane assassin. So FPX make clean work of Mole, and then with Equalizer still available for Doinby, can clean up the rest of the fight.
Alright, revisit this one again, because Y4 started it.
So here, Max was trying to get over onto Doinby to try and knock him back into the team. I think potentially using the flash there could have worked out, but the Equalizer was in such a beautiful spot that it probably wouldn't have even mattered if they got on to Doinby, because everyone was taking so much damage from that big ultimate on Doinby. And now, FPX have gotten control once again of this game, looking towards this mid lane turret.
And let's not forget, well, all elements of FPX were crumbling in this early game with a lot of question marks. LWX has been the more consistent one. Survived a dive, got bullied around a little bit by V5, but has come out pretty damn good. Got the shutdown in that last fight. He's close towards an Infinity Edge second.
And if V5 are going to give up control of the objectives that they set up for, it makes it easier for FPX to take these fights.
Ooh, Max, he's on the brink of death here after being called out, and he's dead. Soul Flare to slow down CLX, and Chris says, let's go. The flush away from the mid lane Centra. FPX have 45 seconds to duel Dragon, and they've got a Rift Herald mid, so this is where the pace continues.
Every time you think V5 are starting to look competitive, they end up giving over a mistake to FPX. Max takes one step too far, and V5 are
over
punished.
the wall. They're starting this one. Great kick flash here from Tien. And Y4, the most fed member of V5, is now being caught out. And V5 as a unit have walked into danger. This game has turned around and V5 have lost any competitive edge. It looks like FPX are not slowing down anytime soon.
And this is the difference between the top teams in the LPL and our bottom teams. V5 get a lead, but they don't force the issue and try to accelerate. They don't take the vision that they have and pick people off with their composition.
Oh, are you going to escape? No, you're not. Mole over the wall. Will survive for now, but the teleport is cancelled. He tried to escape, and Khan with the 2-level lead, a 50 CS lead. Once again, mind you. Says bye-bye Mole. He'll run for his life. He'll survive this time. But this top lane Kiana has not done too much.
And unfortunately now Mole has been sent back to base while the third dragon has spawned. This is going to be so point now for FPX, and you start to feel the inevitable doom once again coming down on V5.
Well, V5 were looking towards this game and saying the potential's there for their second ever game win. Not series, but game win. And it's looking like FPX, to be real with you, are still in that same form. Now, we have a lot of questions for this World Championship team after that early game where Tien fell into some similar patterns that he did in week 1.
I think it's more FPX having a bit of fun with the series. You can see after closing out a game in 19.5 minutes. They're
Yeah.
just like, look, let's try and and play around. But the second that they need to step down to business, this is what we start to see. Them swing it back in their favor. And a gold lead that was ever so slightly in favor of V5 is now 5,000 gold in favor of FPX.
At about the 20-minute mark, this is when the game ended last time here for FPX, and they're pushing the bottom once again. Creatures of habit. As V5, meanwhile, mid and jungle are towards the top side. Doomby's just backing away. They've been spotted out. FPX are like, what are you going to get? Nothing much.
And now it feels like Baron is up and available for FPX. With the composition that they have, they can take this fairly quickly, especially when they've been accelerated so much in the AD carry position. 5-1-5 for LWX. Infinity Edge and Essence Reaver completed. They can shred through that objective.
Oh, LWX on Misfortune. Name a better duo this split. It's been a pretty big split of Misfortune across the board, but LWX has played a bucket load of this champion. Him, Hope, iBoy, Puff hasn't really played it. I'm trying to name other top 80 carriers. Just pause a second because Chris actually might be called out. Good hit for V5, but how far do they want to commit? Chris doesn't die. The ultimate use as Mole comes in for the flank on LWX with the ulti. Base call use as well, but CLX dies the backline of Tien, and now Doomby jumps in. Oh no, V5, they really picked a good play. But again, so far behind, how hard is it to find success? 3 for 1. FPX going to make that 4. Doomby runs at Y4. Hop away until you can't anymore. A double here for Doomby. FPX head towards Baron.
And they will easily pick up this objective. Xiao Han is alive, but won't even attempt the steal in this case. And V5, at least we've seen some shining lights. We've seen, hey look, if they can get themselves going in the early game and Xiao Han is allowed to play his style of game, he can help get V5 ahead. Now they've got to look towards the next step, though. Keep an eye on their mid game and understand how they can play towards these objectives and not give teams like FPX the opportunity to come back and take objectives they have no right to in taking.
Because even though for V5 I look at this team, we're going to pause because CLX is probably just dead here. Hello, Khan. But even though V5, like as a team, right now it looks like no playoffs for you. They're going to be 0-9 after this series if this game 2 keeps tracking.
And they've got IG and RNG still to play
right,
this
that's
week
right.
as well.
Like RNG Wednesday, IG Friday. And how do you deal with that? Khan says it's world ender time and Mole walks in willingly. At this point, V5, I just don't know what to say. Tien, of course he's going to land this onto Xiao Han, but he doesn't get into the base to get the reverse kick. And back to Baron. We could bait it again. We can get more kills, says FPX. That's what they've been doing all game long.
This time I think they'll be able to take it for themselves. V5 have decided we are sick of dying in and around this pit. They're going to try and get their bottom lane Wade in control instead.
But what do you do? Like, as a team like V5, at this point in time, what do you do? You're 0-8, about to be 0-9. You have one individual game win against LNG.
You look for something.
Well, no, I look... Well, here's the discussion. Is that for V5, it's about finding that dynamic now. Yeah, for summer. But it's not about looking forward yet. It's about finding what works for you. And with V5, what worked for them were crazy drafts. That's what I loved about this team, is that people like Y4 would change up and play Bard, would see a fasting bottom lane. CLX would go to mid when Mole was meant to be in the position. Crazy stuff works for this team, and that was their unique identity.
Well, I think even now, if we look at this roster we have in front of us, as of this game, we've seen improvements in it. CLX is looking a lot stronger in the mid lane. Xiao Han is putting on a good performance in this game as well.
Yeah.
And I think that this is where they start to build from there. Okay, the early game, if we forget about the level 2 dives and we forget about these set plays that we're trying to go for with splitting the map and just play a standard game, V5 looked like they can actually take some of these early games. So you got that under control for V5. Right, let's look at how we control these objectives. Why are we backing when Rift Herald is up and we've just gotten control of that objective and giving FPX time to take it down? These are the issues V5 need to shore up, and they can still use their games in the LPL Spring to try and fix that in time for something.
Well, Y4, I think you're just going to lose while your team's defending top. There's 4 people here. CLX is dead from the equalizer, and LWX flashes forward because Misfortune is the fast. And it's deja vu all over again here for FPX, or at least for V5, I should say. Y4 did the dragon, but second inhibitor going down, and Y4 knows it's time for the game. He's trying to hop and skip and jump away, but now he goes down as well. Wait for it. He's dead too. Into the base. Tien will die. Okay. Also gets
Domi as well.
because of the turret, but LWX is still here. This series was a 40-minute stomp. And welcome back to Khan, but also FPX's run continues here in third place.
As you said,